Hey guys, happy Friday. So glad that you joined us. I just want to thank you all for, number one, all the love and support that I've had. I am so grateful for all of you. I can't even put into words. You will see my phone because I actually took notes on this. I actually had a question from last week, and that question was, what does true healing look like with my relationship with self? And I had wrote a couple things down because, ironically enough, I did not start Jamie's journal to do or like promote anything. I just wanted to be vulnerable with you guys and maybe share some of my experiences and maybe thoughts on. I journal, so I feel like it helps me a lot. And if any of my journaling can help someone else, I'm also working on vulnerability. It's difficult because as helpers, it's very difficult, right? So that's why I started Jamie's journal. I do not like when people feel like they should be on a pedestal and they're just telling everybody how to do their whole healing journey. I think everybody has their own. So, segue into this question. The question is, what does true healing look like with the relationship with myself? And I have gone through that journey. I still, to a certain extent, go through this journey, right? So I wrote down a few things because I actually, and thank you for the person, I am going to remain them anonymous. However, I appreciate that question. I think it's a great question, and I think a lot of people struggle with it, right? Like, what does healing even look like for me? Where do I even start with it? And how do I even know if it's happening for me, right? So I wrote down some notes, and I feel like, for me, awareness is number one. Like, where am I at right now? What has me stuck? What has me triggered? Am I numbing some things? What are some things that I am actually feeling, or repeated behaviors that keep having negative consequences in my life? And am I acknowledging them, right? That was a big one for me. Because sometimes we feel like we've worked through some things and maybe we haven't actually worked through them all. So that is a very big one for me. What are we numbing out? What are we avoiding? What do I not want to hear? Sometimes it's very hard to hear the truth, but the truth is the truth, right? So that's number one. Number two I have is honesty. What needs healing, right? So we can't change what we don't acknowledge. What are some things, or what is it? What hurt do I need to, or even fully acknowledge that is a hurt? Am I suppressing something that maybe impacted me a lot more than I thought, but I don't really want to address it? Those are the things that we probably need to be addressing, are the ones that we don't want to. To me, it came with what am I trying to prove and who am I trying to prove it to? I had always been a people pleaser my entire life, so I got validation through other people. And that has changed through my healing journey. I do not need that. The only validation I need is with myself and with God. Outside that, love you guys, but no. Number three is identity. Who am I underneath all of this, right? So who was I before the pain? For me, I was very much people pleasing. I actually go back and forth with this question a lot because there's part of me that I feel like when I first got sober, it was a lot different. I was very stable in, I feel like, all areas of my life. And then when some things started happening, it just triggered me, and it really took a toll. I isolated. I didn't do anything anymore. I really didn't want to. So as you will hear in the background, that is Bo playing with his toy, and I apologize. I'm so sorry. Anyway, there were just some things that I didn't want to identify. I just did not want to identify because I didn't want to accept that was an issue for me, right? So that was one thing. Okay, so 4, ownership. What is my responsibility? So this is probably the biggest thing for me. The biggest learning lesson and the most hardest question I have ever been asked in my entire life, outside of when I went to rehab and they asked me, what makes you happy? And I had no idea. I really did not. This is the other question that got me, is what role do you play in your own suffering? And damn it, we all play a role in our own suffering. Can't blame anyone for the decisions that we make, right? Like, even though there were some really hard times in my life, like, my decisions got me to that point. There were some really, I don't know, negative impacting behavioral patterns that I wasn't aware of. Maybe I was just being selfish. Maybe my ego got in the way. I don't know. There's probably numerous shit that happened that got me to where I was at. But the thing is, I have to take ownership of that. And I have to recognize that, right? And so that is a question that it's always resonated with me. It had a huge impact on me in my life, especially in the past couple years. It takes away from the blaming and it puts more responsibility on our role. What role do I play in my own suffering? Because there is a role to some extent. Okay, so grace. Can I forgive and release? What am I still holding on to? Am I holding on to resentment? Am I holding on to guilt? Am I holding on to shame? For me, I very much hold on to shame. It about drove me into the ground for a long time. Like, literally, shame was a thing for me. I have worked very, very hard on that. And I continue to work hard on that because I just feel like it can really grab hold of me and do a number on me. And unfortunately, I'm going to side note this, and I'm going to get on a soapbox for a second. I really do feel for helpers out there because there is a huge stigma for helpers or people in the helping field that struggle, which is basically the reason why I'm doing Jamie's Journal, because there are a lot of people in this field that struggle and they don't want to come out with it because they're labeled or stigmatized as, no, they're not good enough. They're a shit show. Like, they're chaotic. You should not go to them. And people forget that we're human and we deal and we need to deal with stuff too on our own terms, like in our personal lives. And there are things that we struggle with. And I feel like we don't give people in the helping field a lot of grace. Instead, there's a lot of judgment. There's a lot of, oh God, don't go to her. Don't go to him. Oh God, they relapsed or they did this or that. Like, everybody is judging and nobody is taking accountability for their own actions. And I just want to side note this and let people in the helping field know it's okay to freaking struggle. You're a human being. Give yourself grace. Okay? The stigma has got to stop in all areas of this field. And I'm not talking about addiction. I'm talking about mental health. I'm talking about nurses. I'm talking about teachers. I'm talking about counselors. Like, all of it. Don't burn yourself into the ground thinking that you're less than because you are human and you are struggling. It's okay. So now that I'm off on that tangent, I will go to the next thing, which is my vision. What does healing actually look like for me? How would I feel on a daily basis if I was healing, and what would change in my relationships? What habits, what routines, or rhythms would support that version of me? And then the next one is action. So I feel like these two go hand in hand, right? Like, I feel like, what is my vision for my healing? And then what action steps do I need to do to get there? Even if they're uncomfortable. Because guess what? They're going to be uncomfortable. There is a reason why we continuously do the things that we do, and it has a negative impact on us. So y'all probably hear this all the time. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's how we grow. Be teachable. Be open. That's so important, is to be teachable. This past week, you're going to hear my phone click because I'm looking at my notes. But this past week was fantastic for me. Yesterday, I met with an amazing gentleman, Chris White. He has a center in Houston. It's absolutely phenomenal. Y'all, check it out. I will send info. He's just amazing. And I sat down with him, and we probably sat down for a solid hour, and I listened to him, and I'm thinking to myself, damn, he would make an amazing mentor. He is so knowledgeable in things in just ideas that I just love and aligned with me. And these are people that I want to align myself with, right? Like, I know Chris will make me better. I know there are friends and even family that make me better. It may be in different ways, but it's so important to have that community and have people that can not only help us grow, but hold us accountable and challenge us. And I really appreciate, and I'm so honored to walk with the people that I get to walk with every day in this field. They just astound me, and I love them so much. So the last thing I have on my list is faith. For me, it is a big one. Faith is a big part of my life. Am I open to being transformed? Am I open? Do I feel like I deserve redemption? Do I feel like I deserve forgiveness? That one was a big one for me, because for a long time I felt like I didn't. I felt like I was too far gone, or I screwed up so badly that, like, okay, God gave me so many chances and he's probably done with me, right? So I gave up on him essentially by having that mindset, and he's not even close to being done with me. And that took a long time for me to figure out and for me to accept. And I also have mentors in this realm. My beautiful friend Sandra mentors me spiritually. Oh my gosh. And just having someone sit down and teaching me, like, in the Bible and through God and through Jesus, like, if I'm not accepting their forgiveness, I'm going in the other direction, right? And I don't want that. And I'm literally rejecting them. And that was hard for me, because there were times where I didn't feel like I deserved it, quite honestly. Sometimes I still feel like a certain way about it, but then I have to remind myself, like, no, you do deserve this. Like, this is coming from God. This is coming from Jesus, and that is what's most important. I don't need validation through others anymore. I feel like I am more aligned with God than with others, and I say that because it was not that way before. And he had to take me through some really hard shit to get there, and it sucked. It sucked. It was so hard. I still kind of deal with the aftermath of it. And I'm okay with being open and honest about that. So that's part of my healing journey. And that's why it's called Jamie's Journal, because I get to talk about me in that regard. And anybody that wants to talk shit or judge can just go to a different journal, go to a different page. I don't want to hear any negative comments. I'm totally cool with open feedback and with constructive criticism, but people that are going to come on and just talk shit, not only to me, but to people that are commenting, you're going to get deleted. So we're not trying to be about that life. Anyways, I did want to end it with letting people know that you can ground yourself not only in faith and in prayer, but by also there's the faith aspect, but then there's also the action steps, I should say, that goes along with the faith, right? So like maybe setting boundaries is a thing. It was for me. Sitting with your emotions instead of numbing out. Taking responsibility without the shame and accepting God's forgiveness. Choosing peace over chaos. So that I feel like is a big one for a lot of people, because a lot of times people, especially people that struggle with addiction, they're so used to chaos that becomes their normal. So when things are not chaotic, it starts getting created. And it can be very difficult to sit with peace. It can actually be very uncomfortable sitting with peace. And so I would just encourage all of you to take time for yourself. Take care of yourselves, guys. Take care of yourselves. If you don't hear me say anything in this segment, hear me say this. Take care of yourself. Choose peace. Choose faith over fear. Know that you're loved and you're valued and appreciated. And also, number one, just know that you're not alone. You're not alone. Please drop your comments, drop your questions. I will address them. We are having our podcast on Monday. So we're going to be launching that. I do actually have my workbook, which falls in line with actually things that we discussed today. And my book, which is my story, but those books are not what Jamie's Journal is about. Jamie's Journal is just about talking with you guys, and just having some real conversations and questions and insights. So anyways, I love you guys so much. I apologize for my naughty dogs in the background. Love you, love you, love you. Have an amazing weekend, and we'll see you soon.